the characters felt very real, very authentic, and I think the sets were used super, like, ingenuitive. What am I trying to say? Ingenuitively. Is that a word?
We'll roll with ingenuitively.
Yeah.
So, Drew, we went and saw a movie last night. Tell me what this movie is.
All right.
Well, chances are you haven't heard of it.
Chances are you haven't heard of it.
Or maybe you have, and that's a good thing.
If you have, then you're like really in the know of
You're
what's
tough.
happening.
You're very tough.
Which means you're one of us, so you should subscribe. But yeah, this is called Two Sleepy People, and it is made by a production company called Creator Camp.
Yes.
Which is basically a bunch of YouTubers came together about a year and a half ago and started a film festival, which operates kind of a little differently than most, I think. We haven't really been in a lot of film festivals, so TBD. Something just fell behind the scenes.
Keep rolling.
But yeah, so they basically gave 12 creators, and by that I mean YouTubers, a certain amount of money to make a short. And then they gave one guy, who is American Baron, $100,000 in 90 days to make a feature film.
Yeah.
And then they premiered them all at their Creator Film Festival.
Yeah.
I think it's called Camp Festival or whatever, which is in Texas.
Yes.
So this is the $100,000 90-day feature film that this festival produced and American Baron made, who's like a TikToker YouTuber.
And it got some form of wide release. I say wide release in quotation marks. I don't know how all this stuff works, but
well, I think
it's in theaters.
It's in theaters for like a week.
So if you are like, hey, I want to go watch a cool indie film that like you may not actually really have the chance to watch anywhere else. I mean, they're probably going to get a streaming deal at some point, but for right now there is no streaming deal. So this is your opportunity to watch a really cool indie movie.
Yeah, and I think I'm super passionate about this just because it's like it's YouTubers, obviously that's what we're doing. So like this is kind of the dream.
Yeah.
But I think I think Hollywood's been super not democratized and gatekept for about 100 years. And I think this is super cool because now people with a camera anywhere can break through and make a movie.
Yeah, and I feel like this movie in particular is just a good example of, maybe it doesn't look as good as what you see visually out in Hollywood, but it still looks pretty darn good, first off. And second of all, the storytelling is very good.
The storytelling is very good.
And that's like where, like, the filmmaking storytelling aspect of it is where this movie really shines. And I feel like that's why you should go watch this movie, is to support really cool indie storytelling.
100%.
So.
And I think, we talked about this on the Dead Man's Wire episode, but I think, like, people always complain about lack of originality. I think people just have to look a little harder.
Yeah.
And it's out there.
Yeah. And this one is maybe a little bit more underground than Dead Man's Wire.
I would say this one is more underground.
But if you have a free night this week and you look at your theater and you see Two Sleepy People in theaters, this might be a cool one to go support, genuinely.
I think you totally should go see it.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, we're going to talk about it real quick. So, no spoilers. Tell me, what did you think of Two Sleepy People?
I think, with all of that context, I think it's honestly pretty impressive.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, $100,000 is like nothing.
Well, it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of
maybe
money
for me, but like,
but to make a movie,
it's not a lot of money.
It's not a lot of, like, I think
Yes.
Get Out, which was also an indie film, was made on like $2 million.
Yeah.
So it's like $100,000, nothing. 90 days.
Also not a long
Also
time.
shockingly little time.
Yes.
Like, normal movies are 2 years.
I think they shot for 12 days. Am I right?
I think so.
They shot for 12 days, which is just not a lot of time.
And 90 days, that's like from script to movie in theater.
Yeah.
Which that's mind blowing.
Yes.
I'm working on a short right now, and it's gonna take probably a year, and it's gonna be 12 minutes long ish.
Yeah. So
it's crazy.
And obviously, there's a little bit more funding behind it, but
right.
It's an impressive feat for everybody who worked on it. And you can just kind of feel the love, I'd say, for the person behind the camera, in front of the camera. Whoever you look at, whoever made this movie, that they put a lot of love into this movie, and they care a lot about filmmaking and storytelling. And that stuff shows. And that's the stuff that I feel like goes a long way that sometimes isn't talked about in the Hollywood kind of circles. They just churn out movies to make money. Like, no, I don't think they made this necessarily to make money. I think they wanted to make a good art piece, which shows, you know? So, yeah.
What did you think of it?
I thought it was very good. I mean, I did a little bit of research on, just what is this movie about? And the trailers are kind of vague. And it described it as Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind meets Severance, which is a very interesting kind of...
That's an interesting, log line, for
yeah,
sure.
It's cool. And watching the movie, I was like, yeah, I kind of see how you get there. And, it's funny at times. It can be genuinely emotional at times. And I think it's very creative from a storytelling concept standpoint. So I feel like all of that, I just got to give it its props. And, I think some people might say, oh, it's an indie movie. I'm sure the acting's not that good. It kind of feels like a student film. I still think the characters felt very fleshed out and the performances were great. So I don't know. I mean, don't go in expecting these people to win Oscars for their performances, but you still, I felt very submerged in the story. I didn't feel pulled out really much at all. So I feel like all that was a plus.
And I think some indie movies, the acting can feel that way.
Yeah, it can be a huge distraction.
100%. And just because they're not great actors, but I think the characters felt very real, very authentic, and I think the sets were used super, ingenuitive. What am I trying to say? Ingenuitively. Is that a word?
We'll roll with it ingenuitively.
Yeah. Okay. And I think there's some spotlight elements that's very reminiscent of Eternal Sunshine.
Yes.
But in my mind, that's just using your resources and coming up with effects with a small budget, and I'm all for that.
Yeah, and it felt like that. You could tell they were just in kind of some studio room with a spotlight, but they made it work. And if anything, I feel like it was a lot more interesting visually than doing something with a much larger budget,
100%.
Whatever they could have come up with there. This was very interesting, the way they had to cut corners and stuff to make this work. So, yeah, I had a great time. I thought the ending was, I don't know, it felt very realistic.
I do think it was very realistic.
So there's a lot of great stuff in here. I think we'll have to dive into some spoilers, but is there anything else you want to talk about?
If you haven't seen this movie, go watch it. If you believe in art, independent film, just creative people being creative, this is I think there's only showings at 7. And it's only in theaters until Thursday, unless this campaign is profitable, and then they'll bump it another week.
Yeah.
So, if this is your vibe at all, go watch this movie. It's an hour and a half. Surely you have an hour and a half between now and Thursday.
Yeah. So, go for it. This is your official spoiler warning for 2 sleepy people. And I feel like this movie, Drew, leans a little bit closer to the Eternal Sunshine side than Severance.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I think Severance is a little bit of a reach, trying to pull that crowd a little bit.
I agree, yeah.
I think maybe some of the relational stuff was similar, maybe to a Mark and Helly thing, but...
Oh, I can see that, yeah.
It was a lot closer, I'd say, to Eternal Sunshine, but it didn't feel like a cheap copy or anything like that.
I agree.
It felt original. But, yeah, what did you think of maybe some of the spoiler-laced elements of the story?
I really liked it. I thought it was a super intriguing concept. If you're still here and you haven't seen the movie, basically the concept is this married man is in not a great marriage, and then he starts dreaming that he's married to this other girl, and this other girl has the same dream, and they can talk and communicate, and then they remember the dreams.
And they work together. So
yes, and they work together.
It's very messy to begin with, but he's very happy in these dreams with this other girl. He's very not happy in real life. So the whole premise is super interesting and creates a lot of tension and room for dialoguing just off the cuff. So I thought the concept was super strong, which is what helps make the story super strong.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Yeah. What did you think? I don't know. I guess my question is, and you probably didn't, but do you feel like these characters are relatable? Did you relate to these characters? Or for me, I was watching this. Maybe this is what I'll say. I was watching this and I looked at certain people. I was like, oh, I know a relationship that is just like their falling apart marriage, you know, and stuff like that. So how'd you feel about all that stuff?
I don't know about relatable because I'm single, but I think very realistic and very, just very real. I think you're exactly right. You can point to that. This sun is about to cook the exposure, so I'm so sorry, viewers, but just bear with us.
We're rolling.
Yeah, I think that I definitely thought of some people that I know that I'm like, wait, that's who you are.
Yes.
So yeah, I think it's very realistic and very fleshed out. And I think what's the guy's name is Sid.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was very just kind of relatable. And this movie like kind of deals with like trauma and like
upbringing and
yeah, and I
nurture
think
a little bit too.
I kind of in the beginning was like, oh, he's not a great actor because I just didn't like his performance. But the more I watched the movie, I'm like, wait, I think he's playing the way he was brought up in the context of the story. I think he's playing that really well.
Yes, I would agree.
So
yeah,
I think he was a good actor.
Yeah, I think the scene that stuck out to me the most, because they go in these streams, right, and they're doing this married life, and I'm kind of on board with this, and then they step out of the house that they're in, and they go into kind of the spotlight thing where it's kind of a nightmare, and they're sort of in their own memories and stuff. I thought all of that was the most interesting part of this movie by far, where the girl, what's her name? I can't remember her name. Lucy, that's right. She walks out and she's in this like nightmare spotlight world, and she sees two sock puppets.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the frick is going on?
Yeah.
But then she starts to dialogue with these sock puppets, and you realize, oh, this is her mom, and
it's like actually pretty sad.
This is her trauma, and it is very sad. And you're looking at sock puppets.
Yeah.
And there's another scene too where Sid comes out in the nightmare world, and he sees his mom and dad and himself as a young boy, and he like listens to them dialogue, and his dad is just maybe a very abrasive and not very kind and stuff, and then he blinks and he's in his mom's dress, and his wife is in his dad's spot. Yeah. So it's kind of like you want to laugh moment. He's sitting there in a dress, but then you realize, oh my gosh, he is in this same relationship. He's just his mom, kind of on the back burner, and his dad/wife is very abrasive. So
I thought that was a great way to like thematically show without blatantly telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
a lot of show don't tell, which is just really, really great. So I thought all that stuff. I mean, to me, that's just straight up great filmmaking and creativity. That if any director does that, I'd be like, wow, it's very creative and very, really awesome. So yeah, commend that. So I feel like that was the stuff that really stuck out best to me. I think I really liked too how you saw the characters just come into their own and grow throughout all these dreams and stuff. Specifically Lucy, and they say this in the movie, but she's so much less awkward and so much more herself and comfortable in her own shoes because she's dealing with this trauma. And Sid is standing up for himself and standing up for himself in a relationship, and he likes the things that he likes and stuff, and you see all of that. So I think the character progression was really, really great too. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but
no, I think it was good. And who was the wife? Donna. I think this is not necessarily a weak point, but I think they tried to flesh out her character too, with like the dog thing, and I think that was the hardest one for me to buy.
Yeah, I didn't connect with that much, but
also she was just kind of like the worst the whole time.
I did appreciate her. I think it made the end scene a little softer because you were a little more sympathetic.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah,
and I think that's where, looking back, I don't hate that dog flashback scene at all, because I was like, oh, she has her own stuff too, that even though she's not really a great person, there's reasons she's doing and saying things, so I think that scene served a good purpose overall. But yeah. I agree. Yeah. I don't know, what else you want to talk about? Anything else you want to touch on with Two Sleepy People?
Thoughts on the ending?
The ending, okay, I talked to you about this a little bit, which I don't like. This is a tough thing for any filmmaker, because when you get into a concept like this, you go with the rom-com ending where they end up together, right? And I'm talking about Sid and Lucy, the two that are sharing the dream, right? And then you have the other option, which is the La La Land. They kind of never get together.
They don't get together.
I love the theater thinking, okay, they just went with the La La Land ending. I have thought about it in the 12-ish hours since. I do think it's a little more ambiguous than just the straight La La Land ending.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like they don't get together for right now, And I do think that it's a little open to interpretation, that you could leave and think, well, they could probably get together in 3 to 6 months and it would make sense within universe, But I don't know. What did you think of all of that?
I agree, and I honestly don't think that was the point of the movie. I think the point of the movie was overcoming their trauma.
Yeah, 100%.
which I think they did, and I think the movie executed that character arc very well on all sides.
Yeah, and the vibe of this movie didn't lean rom-com.
No,
maybe a little bit, but it did lean more Eternal Sunshine, kind of a little bit of sad and depressing at times.
No,
which is good for the movie, but yeah. I mean, thought it was good. Thought the ending was good. Very interesting. So, yeah. Anything else you want to touch on?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, guys, we just reviewed Two Sleepy People. If
you should go see it.
Yeah,
you should go see it.
We recommend that you do watch it, and maybe check out their Kickstarter if they still have some funding stuff going on. You want to support? Go for it. It's really cool to see people creating like this. So, yeah, we've got some great stuff coming up. So hit that subscribe button and take a break.
Enjoy a film.